Yeah.
I gave him
You didn't give me
I gave him to all Miss Martin. I might not have given you.
Rewind the tape. Tell her to rewind the tape.
It's on there.
No, it's not. I want even.
No, it was like a
I'll
couple,
get you one.
it was like a
I
couple of
have
weeks
that.
ago.
I gave him to everybody. Been asking both of them.
Look at him together.
But we can get, don't worry, we'll get you.
Can't even get it.
I know you weren't here, but he was here.
No, I'm on here. You were asking about it. You said, oh, yeah.
I gave him to everybody.
You said one night, I'm gonna take that you had one, and you said, when are we gonna have our mask?
That's right.
I said, yeah, I'm working on it.
I had James
I've
supply
been
me.
working like by hand or something on each delicate little stick.
I'll come over with you, Miss Martin.
Oh, my hands are like
Everybody here tonight, and after we begin the meeting, I'm gonna ask Michelle, if she'll lead us in the word of prayer.
Most kindly, gracious Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day that you give us. Father, I pray that you lead us and lead us and guide us and direct us all that we do for the betterment of our students, our staff, and this great community we ask all these things in your name. Amen.
Entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor of the agenda presented to you, give signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Announcements and recognitions.
We don't have any special, but I do want to tell the board, thank you for your time last night, but I also want to tell our administrators and leadership teams that took time out to come out last night, thank you very much. Our board of directors for the CCA Academy, I want to thank them for taking their time to come out and support us. And I want to thank our teachers and staff for all they've been able to do to keep our school system in the best shape I've seen in the past 11 weeks under the circumstances we've had to deal with. So thank y'all for all that you do.
All right, and as a follow-up to last night's discussion about surplus of property, I remember just a little bit ago that we did have an appraisal on the trailer portion of that property sometime back. There was a commercial appraisal out of Tipton, and I just confirmed that with our attorney.
Okay.
She's got a copy of it. We could get that. It was a considerable
Yes.
appraisal.
Okay.
And not what we paid for, but the amount that it was appraised for. And we did at one time advertise that as surplus. But as she had reminded me, our board policy had changed, and it's been a while, so we would probably have to advertise it again. But we did appraise it,
How long has it been since we had that appraisal?
maybe 8 or 10 years. I'll find my copy of it. Now, the part, I think it's page 1, had the appraisal on it, it was 20-something pages long. I will scan that and send it to you just for reference. But granted, it's a 8 to 10-year-old appraisal, but we did have appraisal.
So the recommendation would be to go ahead and surplus it now, and then we can get everything rolling in that process.
Well, let me get that back in y'all's hands so you can see what we did at one time.
Okay.
And for our policy changes, we'll have to give our current policy.
In a resolution, and in that resolution, you determine how you're going to get rid of it.
Okay. So we're going to do a new resolution
But we can go ahead and do the trailer.
and the corner property.
Yeah, that one we did not have appraised, but we did have that other one. And I'll find it and send that to you. Okay, next item of business, we have a request to speak to the board tonight, from Jeremy Cox. Jeremy?
Is it okay with you guys if I just stay seated? Yeah, last night, that was nice last night. I want to thank you, Dr. Harrelson and Mr. Chairman and board members for allowing me to speak tonight. I can't speak for everyone in our county, but I do speak for many who still feel that they do not have a voice within our school system. And I pray that that will change in the very near future. When I asked Dr. Harrelson last week if I could speak tonight, to be honest with you, I had many questions that were addressed last night. I hope that you as well found that very informative. I think our principals did a wonderful job of letting us know where they stand at each individual school. You can feel the passion that each of our administrators have at their schools and their little inner circle, as I call them, of their team. And I think they did a great job of letting us know their issues. Each of them had some of quite the same issues. If you were listening, and with technology being an issue, technical support, and if we're going to go more to a virtual background of that, I mean, we've got to supply that support for them. Which brings me to a question, and these are just questions that I get asked, so I want to ask to see if we're thinking the same way. Is VARTech, and this isn't a shot at Matt by no means, so don't take this offensive, Matt. Is VARTech worth the money that we're paying them? Are we getting our needs out of them? How does that look for us? Do we do that contract every year? How's that bidded out for us? Just asking. And not trying to get rid of Matt. We want Matt to stay with whoever's there with us. I thought last night there was a very positive step in our community. Many of us have been trying to work in different areas of churches and community leaders of getting people together to talk. And I think last night, I don't think it was planned to be open, but thanks to Jim Casper back here for opening up his mouth some. He kind of opened up the floor to communication, and I think we need more of that. I think we need to have forums where we could sit around tables like this and you guys draw from the community members, business members. As Hal said last night, that board of directors, I don't know how many of you realize that the College Career Academy had a board of directors. And know that they're not over anybody, but they're a good resource, and that's the word he used last night. What a great resource! Well, guess what? You got parents and community members, business members that want to be a good resource for you guys. You don't have to carry the burden of the school system all on your own just because you're an elected official. You can take some suggestions and some advice from the community. I mean, but there again, that's who elects the school board. You know, because when I talked to you last time, I talked about accountability, and that's part of accountability is realizing that the public holds you guys accountable. So with that being said, a lot of my questions about virtual learning were answered last night, but as they talked, as the principals talked, I had some concerns that were highlighted that I had. And I want to talk about that tonight. Accountability, it goes back to that. I mean, systems come and go by accountability. Civilization will rise and fall by accountability. And it must be, accountability it has to be a must in our school system if we plan to rise above any of the issues we are facing as a school, as a city, as a county, as a state, as a nation, and even as a world. Like I stated last night, we can't do much about D.C. and about Atlanta. But I tell you, we can start a ripple right here in South Georgia. We can. The people in this room and those that were here last night, that really, because I think everybody here last night truly cares about children. They really care about the education of our children. I mean, I feel that, really. Now, we may have different views how to get there. We may have different worldviews, but we all are passionate about our children. And with that type of mindset, we can make a difference. Here in Ben Hill County, here in South Georgia. And who knows, that will make a ripple effect, and it will cause the world to change for many students and families right here in Ben Hill County. You never know who may come through our doors and get educated that will change the world. Could be the next Dr. Martin Luther King. It could be the next Billy Graham. I mean, we don't know, but we've got to have the expectations to reach those children and teach those children to the very best of our abilities. Absentee issues that were mentioned much last night. I want to be on record and let you know, I don't care how many days people miss, and the grade, if they don't come to school, they cannot pass. We cannot continue to promote people just because we don't have room at certain schools for them. We're not doing anybody any favors by passing people that don't show up or that don't, because they're, again, accountability. If you're not holding them accountable, what good is our diploma that we hand out to people? Budget issues with the central office. This is something I want to ask you, board members. Did you read the budget that you passed? And I hope you did. But within that budget, and I was told by our financial CEO here, that CFO, that the budget's hard to understand. And I can understand. I've looked at it. It's hard to numbers, but guess what? I can read. And within that budget, people at the central office received a major, substantial raise last year. Several of our leadership team members there. And last night I heard everything about budget. Budget cuts, budget cuts, budget cuts. Well, how in the world can we, during a pandemic time period, when that budget was passed, how in the world can we give raises as such? So just a question that is out there for that. And the reason you guys can't hold account, and I say this in love, I really do, because if we can't have hard conversations with each other, who can we have hard conversations with, you know? Because we can disagree but still care for each other, right? I hope we have that heart for each other, that we cannot agree, 2 minutes, we cannot agree, but we can still care about each other, even though we disagree with how we get there. But I want to leave, I'll end with this, Mr. Chairman. The reason you guys can't hold others accountable, though, is due to the fact you don't hold yourself accountable. And an example I have for that is, I heard about partnerships last night, but have any one of you on the board, and Dr. Harrison, you included, have either one of you reached out to Martin Cosman since the meeting that he came here and presented his presentation? Has anybody reached out and told him when we're going to have a meeting with him? Because that night on record, it says that we would have a workshop with him. That's public. I mean, we said that. Has anybody reached out to him? And I can tell you haven't, because I called him today to see, and nobody has reached out to him. That's killing partnerships. We're talking about collaboration, Hal's working his tail off trying to get people to work together. Even if we don't want the road, we at least want to sit down with the man and have a conversation with him instead of just kind of sweeping it off. Thank you.
Well, I didn't follow up with,
Okay.
I had exercise.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And I'll remind him of that, because I talked to him tonight, or today, he said nobody, so thank you, Michelle.
And I know Ms. Brooks responded to an email that he sent.
Okay. Okay.
And we've had a conversation about we still got that work session. We're gonna,
Okay.
And we're going to schedule it, we're going to have it.
Okay.
One of personal privilege, Mr. Chairman, I'm sorry that I mispronounced this in the definition. And it is a point of personal privilege that I want us to acknowledge and recognize the work of Vanessa Melton, who has worked diligently for the children in this county, and we lost her last week, or mid-September, I should say. and it's a great loss to our children and to this community. I also, of course, you know, she was the director of the Monitor Enrichment Program, and she had been the director for several years, and her work has had an impact on our children's success. But I also want to recognize our past director of technology, Mr. Charles Coney, who worked in our system and helped change us over to the technology that we have today before we got our good friends from Bartech. And so while he worked diligently for us as well, we lost him, and I just want to recognize both of them. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Miller.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Mr. Coffey.
I was so anxious to hear you, I missed the minutes, so we're going to go back and take minutes. Now, I jumped over that, my apologies. We had the approval of the regular monthly meeting of September 15th. Entertain a motion to approve those minutes.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor of the minutes of September 15th, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Moving into system reports, I'll entertain a motion. We approve the consent agenda items listed on your agenda as items 7, 8, 1 through 5.
I'm going to approve the consent agenda items, this is 7A, 1 through 5.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. Pay bills list.
Pay bill, Fund 100, we have $2,263,630.28. Fund 150, I guess this is right, only $519,653.64.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. This year, you will notice that trend, because we learned a lot last year about Fund 150, and we have reversed the percentages. Now, this year, only about 10% local money, 90% federal funds in Fund 150. So there will be much less expenditures
In Fund 150.
in Fund 150.
Okay. And that gives us a total of $2,783,283.92 in expenses for last month.
Yes, ma'am.
Any questions on that? General fund, fiscal year to date.
Fund balance is shown as,
Yes, ma'am. This, and just for your information, this is the financials from June 30 after we closed the books. We didn't, in fact, we still haven't got the final percentages in Fund 150 for this year to do the journal entries to get you an accurate September 30 fund balance and financial report. So this is June 30.
okay. As of June 30th, then, $3,216,554.48.
Yes, ma'am, that is correct. You remember we had projected 3.4, but as we went through the closing entries, we found that we had to transfer more dollars out than we had anticipated.
You think you follow me?
You're quite welcome.
All right, these loss report.
Now, this just like wrote me over. East Floss for the month. We normally have around 200,000, and we're bragging about that. So this is $499,508.51. Mr. Rachel, you got to explain that.
The state of Georgia had a suit against a large national retailer, and we don't really know who it was. The only one to my mind that fits that description here in Fitzgerald would be Walmart. But the nature of the suit was that the retailer had been miscategorizing some of their sales tax revenues. The state won its case and had like a $200 and something million settlement. They dropped all of those dollars into the appropriate accounts at one time, they tell me. So that's where that money came from.
It's going to change our average quite a bit, don't you?
It did significantly. Wouldn't it be great to get that every month?
Yes, sir. As you can see, it's continue to be busy month as always. We, happy to say we staying on top of, the maintenance at our schools. And, I rode around and looked after the storm came through, didn't find any damage, so any kind of wind damage or rain damage. It was when that storm Sally came through. Brandon Fletcher's been supplying us with face masks. I've been putting them at the front offices at the schools for visitors. So they say visitors showing up and they don't have any face masks, so Brandon supplied us with those. Excuse me. And I have set up for next week while we're out of school, so there won't be any interruption with kids or teachers. Our fire sprinkler system, that'll be inspected next week. And we'll get that taken care of. And I finally got the rest of our water bottle principals, water bottle fillers put in so we can finish putting those up for y'all. I think they're using them a lot from what I can tell. And those have came in really handy. And Miss Shirley, we got that bathroom with the doors at the high school. It's good to go.
Thank you.
And we've done a lot of work on those bathrooms in the last couple of weeks, so just locks and stuff like that that have been broken off and tore down, and so. But we're staying on top of it, and
Probably have to do it all over again by Christmas.
Rob, it's not so. He can, Mr. Service can tell you how that goes.
It's the hangout. You can call it the hangout.
But
Thank you so much.
yes, ma'am. Thank y'all.
The other part of facilities update would be our new Fitzgerald High School, College, and Career Academy construction site. So last night I showed you a plan of how it was, the pad was laid, and now you can see rebar with concrete inside those footers. And actually that right there would be the music and band rooms. And then this way where that barrel's sitting would actually be the auditorium. So we were very excited, and again, Buckley and Associates and Parrish Construction are doing a fantastic job, and they're probably 60 days ahead of where they should be right now.
So is all the dirt work finished?
No, when you have to look at it from saying dirt work, the pad is formed, but if you see these, so if you go out there and we're driving the site, don't go past the trailer, because you see this whole area back here? That's the top of the truck. So what we're doing is we're borrowing dirt from here to make the road over here. Because when you drive in, you'll look at the road at eye level. That's how high it is. So we're borrowing this dirt to go over here while the other dirt is curing based off of what we took off the top. Then we'll replace it back over here. But this right here would be the auditorium. This would be the rear stage area of the auditorium. So what we're doing is starting with the most complex areas first, which would be the auditorium. Naturally, you build your band and chorus, and then we'll come across and start with the gym and work our way from left to right. So the finalization would be with the college and career hallway.
That's not gonna be the new fishing pond for the fishing team?
We built that off over here on this side over there, where the water drains a little better. Yeah.
It is, y'all really need to go, I mean, I have been amazed. I went last week to their meeting, and there was just a lot of dirt, and I didn't really know what it was. And then I got aerial views, that's the ones y'all saw last night. And then he called me Monday and said, come on, we gotta go. So I get out there, and then all this is here. I mean, literally, it is awesome. I mean, it's so exciting to see it. And they really are working very hard.
I explained that we'll have a monthly meeting every Thursday, the third Thursday of the month. If you'd like to attend, just let me know. I'll be glad to have you, just so you can sit in and just hear what they have to say and where we're at. And with somebody who's never built a school, she's learning quite a bit, and that's what you want people to do, is have a good informational understanding about what we're doing and how we're doing it, and how well it's being done.
That's gonna be trivial. But did I miss the groundbreaking?
We have not had it yet.
Okay.
No, ma'am. No, ma'am. What I'm waiting on now is because of all the inconsistencies that we're trying to get it together. Why don't we just wait till it's right here in the next several weeks when it's nice and cool? We'll go ahead and schedule it, and that way things are settling down a little bit more. Maybe more people will come out and participate, and Parish is more than glad to take care of that preparation.
And I just wanted to let y'all know, on the front of the website, there's the drawing, the architectural drawing of the school. If you look at the website, it's gonna be on your right side. If you click on that, that will go into every picture that we've taken. The first picture is gonna be the latest thing that it looks like. So you can go back and see from the beginning to the end. And we'll add those as we get drone footage from the architects. And I'll add them as I take pictures too, because I'm going out periodically to take pictures, so people can watch it.
That the site will be closed off here very shortly, so we'll be putting fence up and gates up so that people can't come and go as they please. Number one, for liability, number two, for theft. So that will be occurring on multiple sites.
Athletic report. All right, all those in favor of the consent agenda items as presented to you, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Matt, technology report.
All right, thank you, Mr. Chairman. As y'all know, there's a lot going on these days, and I can say that September was very busy and very fruitful. So just want to share a couple of those highlights with you all. You know, as the schools are looking to make the changes that they're planning at the school level, you know, one of the things that I felt like was important to do was go ahead and start setting up some meetings with them so we can be on the same page with, you know, the changes that they want to implement, because a lot of it is going to be technology related as it relates to the online learning and that kind of stuff. So I went ahead and worked with Mr. Sermon. We set up a bi-weekly meeting basically from September to January, just so that we could be on the same page, talk about the progress of items and, you know, sort of the ideas that they had at the school level to implement in terms of getting ready for the changes that they want to want to put in. We also were able to work with the new vendor for internet service that the state of Georgia DOE awarded for, you know, the statewide contract. Basically, it had been AT&T before, a new provider called ENA beat them out. So what that meant for all the schools in the state was that there's a new internet service coming in now. Something that came along with it that benefits us, in addition to just a new piece of equipment coming in, was a slightly upgraded circuit. We were at 400 megabits of internet connectivity on that circuit, and then the old one that is, and then when the new one came in, they brought it in at 500. So I think that was just one of the pieces of the new contract in terms of, you know, what was provided. So, you know, that was good there. Got a little bump there. Of course, that is in addition to the 1 gigabit circuit that we worked to install last year. So in terms of internet bandwidth, we're in good shape there. You know, we would continue to leverage Schoology, which is the learning management system that's in place for the district, but a lot of this is targeted and revolves around the elementary school. They were, you know, they were kind of this was their first year going to Schoology as a platform. Now, other schools had used it previously, but they had the benefit of saying, okay, we know we're going online, we know we have Schoology, we're going to put these two ideas together, and that's going to be our platform. So a lot of the innovation that you see here, like using breakout rooms inside the platform during and for Tier 2 instructional time, you know, those are things that we're able to put into place and just kind of help teachers who are, A, doing something they've never done before, online teaching, but also B, meet some of these requirements of, you know, getting those interventions in, and doing it remotely and doing it virtually. We also had an opportunity to go ahead and upgrade the wireless equipment at the primary school. When I say opportunity, I mean that we had been monitoring that system and had been giving us some issues on and off. And then once Dr. Harrelson set up these virtual Fridays, I knew that was a chance for us to get in there and change out some equipment with a minor disruption, to people in the building. Because with students out, obviously that's a good opportunity for that. So went ahead and knocked that out when we had a chance last month. Also, briefly, but I put it on here just because I think it's really cool. Got a chance to work with a high school team who are streaming the games, and just help them with a little bit of technology setup, kind of back end stuff. They're doing the sophisticated stuff, but we work with them. We help them kind of get the press box staged and ready on the network side so that they can do their streaming. That's a talented group that's doing that stuff. So I was just kind of proud and happy to be a part of that. So looking at next month, we're going to be, and this has actually already started with the new term, but supporting middle school's transition from Odyssey-Ware to Schoology. With that change that they're making, we're also going to be further supporting that, as well as the other schools by deploying these cameras and mic combination for online teachers, kind of having a pilot group of this idea, or at least giving the teachers an option and sort of, supporting them, but also getting feedback on, hey, how does this work? Is this a benefit to you? Because it'll be supplemental to what they already have today. So that'll be excellent feedback, and we're hoping that it makes a big impact for the teachers. And then lastly, we were waiting on a shipment of 60 new iPads. Those are finally in, so we'll be looking to roll those out here very soon.
Questions?
Yes, the Odyssey-Ware, the transition that you're doing from Odyssey-Ware to Schoology, is that how you say that?
Yes, ma'am.
Are people not liking Schoology mainly because it's brand new and they just gotta get used to it? They seem to prefer, at least the people that I've talked to, seem to prefer the Odyssey.
I don't know that they don't like Schoology. I don't know that that's how I would describe it. I think at a school level, it's just something that the middle school was choosing to do just to kind of get ahead of the curve a little bit. I think they've identified that this is an area that they want to pursue in terms of their platform, what they're going to stand on and deliver, deliver their instruction on. I think they're just trying to get a little bit ahead of the curve to, get all their students familiar, parents familiar, teachers familiar, so that they're in a strong position to do that going forward.
Thank you.
Ms. Shirley, Mr. Servants will tell you that Schoology is your platform. That's what you go in, and that's what you put live, recorded live, all those things. Your Odyssey-Ware is the actual physical program. So it's something that you log into, and that's what you're taking as your class. Okay? So those are the two variances. Would you have anything to add, Mr. Sermons?
Well, and Odyssey-Ware is a quote-unquote canned program. It's someone from across the state that's certified, across the nation, that may be teaching a science class or a math class or social studies, whereas Schoology, it'll be actually teaching in the classroom.
Right.
So now you go from a canned program to a live Fitzgerald High School instruction. And that's hard for teachers, to go virtual. We talked about it last night. And that's where we're going in Fitzgerald. And it's, ground stages of it. And it's challenging because you can just, on Odyssey, when it's logged on and somebody's teaching, you can't ask them a question. You can't do anything. Now, when it's a live person in Schoology, now you can pause, you can stop, you can raise your hand. But now it requires the teacher not to be out in the world, in someone's living room and everything else. And that's the challenge of teaching in the 21st century.
Now, what you can do is that teacher could go in and have a lesson and be teaching it, and then say, all right, here's what I want to do. Under the EIP format, I want to give you this accelerated assignment or remedial assignment so you can have practice or practice over here. That's where we want to be able to offer those things and help kids as we move forward.
Thank you so much for breaking that down for me.
The live stream of the football game, is that to the scoreboard or is that broadcast?
It's broadcast. They have a YouTube channel, and every week, I put it on Facebook and on the front of our webpage. I put that link. So, because every week the link changes just based on the program they're using. It's a little bit different than our board meetings. And so we put that out there for the community. And I have several people now that we've done it, they just text me directly, where's the link? Where's the link? So I sent it to them. But it is, it's on the front, it's on every home game that Friday morning, the link will be on the front of our website. I mean, front of the website and all over Facebook.
And we do have a way of monitoring how many views.
Yes,
we're
yes,
getting right.
yes. Hal and Michael Wise, that's teaching the AV class, they look at that data literally the next Monday. They go through it with the class, with the kids that are doing the AV. And so, yes, they're getting, I think the first game, Matt, what was that?
It was about 850 for the Osula game.
Yeah, that's what I say.
It's challenges to the live streaming, and I was talking to Mr. Brown, that athletic director today. The challenge is, if we live stream it, then they stay home. And it now cuts into the football budget, which funds all athletics. So going down the line, we got to see how can we charge for that program, because although during the pandemic, we're giving a free service, but we lose a lot of money at the gate that pays for basketball and wrestling and cross country. So soon we got to decide how to get sponsorship in order to balance out the people staying home. I mean, if you hadn't seen the feed, it's like being on the field. It is up close, personal, watching every play, but it's kind of better to be in that game, but yet we lose money if we don't start getting sponsors. As you know, because that athletic budget took a hit since last March, and it's going to be hard to recover even as now. And every week we just pray that coronavirus don't hit us, because if it does, then we really will not recover.
That's where I was going during the down time of the game. Do we do
Commercial.
Yeah,
commercial
yes,
advertising?
yes. Community Bank is actually the sole sponsor of the AV program and the live stream. They have donated money for it to help make it happen. And then they're also asking for other sponsorships as well that we can do ads on there. We can do, like during halftime, we can do ads. They can also do them if we're taking a break, or, you know, kind of like the radio. If you're listening to Bill and Tim and they take like a 15-second break and it goes to those ads, we do the same thing on the live stream.
We
So,
can do our own ads.
yes,
Yes.
yes,
Yeah, our stuff.
Correct.
yes,
Points of pride kind of thing.
yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
yeah. So, I
So
mean,
kind of like we did last year when we had each school do a video, we can play that during
right,
that period of
I mean,
time.
it's very neat. And the AV classes, and Michael, I mean, those kids do an amazing job. I mean, they get there at that stadium between 5:30 and 6, and they run all night. Like, they don't stop till the game is over, and it's fantastic. So kudos to Mr. Sermons for bringing that in and bringing Michael in, and because they really are doing a fantastic job.
That's not one of the good and bad things. People stay home and watch it.
Yeah.
It's like you do a better job with your TV, so you lose money.
Yeah,
Okay.
there's always a downside, unfortunately.
All right, thank you, Matt.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Transportation request, that's for information. Board of Directors meeting minutes from September 15th, I think we had it presented to us last night also. Moving into new business. This is the second read, or this is first read?
First read.
Yeah, first read of policy BDFAs, school governance teams. Entertain motion that we approve that first read.
Motion to approve the first read for BDFA, local school council.
Second.
Our motion second, now is there any discussion?
This is our first read that's got to lay on the table for Thursday.
Yes, ma'am. Any questions about any explanation? Nick?
Mr. Chair, Board, we have, among all the other things we are doing right now, our policies are out of date. And we're finding that as we progressively move forward in this day and time, that we're coming back to policies, and these policies are not sufficient to be able to make effective decisions for our community and our boys and girls and our teachers and staff. So we're going through them with Ms. Sawyer's help, and we're revamping, and we'll be bringing many, many, many policies to you all so that we can get up to date and make sure that everything is up to date, because PSC's requiring more and more policies and having up-to-date policies, and they're changing policies along with GSBA, along with the governor, and this will be ongoing throughout the rest of the year.
What we had with local school council, this is.
You had local school council,
Technology,
this is
charter
governance
system.
teams, all these things that we've changed to with charter that we need to have in place to make sure that we're meeting the guidelines that we promised and we signed off on.
Changing language.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor of leaving this on the table 30 days, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. We'll bring them back up in November. We have a final read of classified positions. This is policy GCB. We approved that first read last meeting. Entertain a motion to approve the final read of the revised policy GCB.
I'll make that motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion and second, any discussion? All those in favor of the revised policy GCB, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Item D is the final read of revised policy GCRD, and that deals with classified personnel overtime pay. I'll entertain a motion to approve that.
I move to approve policy GCRD.
Second.
Second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the final read of policy GCRD, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. COVID-19 update, Forrest?
Mr. Chair and board members, as you know, every Friday we give you an update based off of what our COVID numbers are and where we're at. And we are seeing a major decline. And it's because of all the things that are happening, from Cinderella, thank you very much for all that you do, with the combination of our staff, lunchroom staff, wiping tables down and cleaning, our kids helping with that process, and then our teachers and staff helping with the process in their rooms. Fogging buses, cleaning buses. Y'all, it's a team effort, and it's working. The social distancing part, keeping that in place. Everything as a team is helping us keep these numbers to a minimum of one child classroom. So that's a blessing.
Mandatory mask. You did make the change to mandatory mask.
That's correct. Yes, ma'am. When I say social distancing, that I reference that as a part of it, sorry. Everything in place. So it's everything that we're doing. And it's a blessing to be able to stand there before you that in the first week or two, we were not in the favor of the odds of being able to stay open to where we're at now with one child and being very successful because of everybody in this room. So thank you.
Our next item of business is the 2021 health insurance participation for board members. This is something that annually we're required to vote up or down about board members participating in the state health insurance plan. So for purposes of discussion, I'll make a motion that we do not offer state health insurance to board members.
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion not to offer insurance to board members, participation, signify by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. GSBA awards, partnership award, Beacon Award, and board service activities were signed and submitted. Our, you get all our signatures on the training stuff. Our upcoming events, you have those before you, November 10th, meeting here. New board member training, have you heard anything about the virtual award?
No, Debbie, me and her talked, she said you let me know.
We're still trying to find out if our winter conference is going to be virtual or, I don't know everything yet. The GSBA board is supposed to have voted, a couple of Fridays ago, I haven't heard anything.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, ma'am.
I have been asked to serve on the government operating committee again this year, and I'll be on tomorrow morning on a virtual meeting with them, to decide about the policies and procedures and what the, legislative priorities will be, and that'll be tomorrow morning.
Okay.
10.
Is that a yearly, that for a year term?
No,
You know?
no, it's just for us to go ahead and pull together our legislative priorities. I just about serve on it every year, but it's just for that one meeting. And then we pick a legislative delegate and then an alternate, and we do that later on in the year. I just want to make sure the board was aware that I was serving on that.
Okay. Well, on behalf of the board, we will acknowledge that you are serving on that passage. I'm assuming if it were not virtual, if it, well, it could be under some normal time, so we can ask you to try.
Oh, yeah, we would normally be going to government. That's what we normally do, automatically.
All right, personnel, anybody need to go into executive session for those items? All right, entertain a motion that we approve the employment of Jessica Taylor, Lena Wright, amend the contract for Michael Wise, and approve the employment of Christine Amory. Motion?
I'll make that motion to approve those as presented. Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. All right, under resignations, entertain a motion to approve the resignation of Walter Rhymes.
I move to approve the resignation of Walter Rhymes.
Is there a second? Okay, motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor of the resignation of Walter Rhymes, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. Entertain a motion to approve the retirement of Crystal Neal.
Move to approve the retirement of Crystal Neal. Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor of the retirement of Crystal Neal, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed or abstained? Motion carries. No further business to come before us tonight. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
Thomas, I thought you asked that.
No. It's been full.
Pardon?
No other business, I'll move to adjourn.
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All those in favor of adjournment, signify